to the Impact Revolution channel. Thank you so much for coming. How are you doing?
Hey, good. And you? Thank you so much for having me.
No, it's an absolute pleasure to have you with us, Andrea. So, as we discussed, I would like to ask you a couple of personal questions, if that's okay with you, so the
Yeah.
audience know you a bit better, and then later we go more to the professional one. Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So you told me that you've been in many places. All right. So this question I think is even more relevant for you. If you could wake up anywhere in the world, Andrea, where it would be and why?
Um, you mean I have to pick one place?
Yes, tomorrow. If you wake up tomorrow anywhere.
Tomorrow, I would like to wake up in London.
London, all right, cool.
Yeah. I love London. I think it's a very globalized city.
Uh-huh.
You find everywhere, everything there, everywhere, and there are people from all around the world.
Uh-huh.
A lot of activities, a lot of restaurants, a lot of cultural activities to do, and I love
True.
London style. Yeah.
I like London too. I like London. I used to live in Brighton for 2 years, 3 years. So I was
Mm.
very close to London. Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. Very good. Thank you. Now, well, I asked you before, but because you didn't answer in that time, if I ask you what was your happiest moment in your life, Andrea, what is the first memory that comes to your mind?
Oh, no doubt about it. So it was when I gave birth to my daughter.
I know. All right, very good. Yeah. Okay, cool. So now, Andrea, this is more related to who you are. Okay. If someone who really admires you and highly respects you and knows you very, very well, how will define who is Andrea Mansano?
um, I'm I'm pretty sure there. First of all, I'm a very generous person,
Okay.
and I have a lot of empathy for others,
Okay.
and everyone can tell by the social services that I do. And
Mm-hmm.
so I always think about the impact I can do in others' life. So I always say that every time that you meet someone, the time that you leave that person has to feel better than when you meet them. Uh,
I love it. You give me
yeah.
goosebumps. I love that. Uh-huh. Make them feel better. You have a lot of social services projects, and you help people in favelas, and you help young people, and you support education. And you are a very successful woman. I was wondering, what is your why? Why do you do all these kind of big things? That is making impact for many
um,
people.
I think that I must give in return a little bit that I am blessed to have. So I have I have lucky that been born in the family in the place that I was born, and to have the opportunity to study and to develop myself.
Mm,
And so for many reasons, I consider myself a very blessed person, and I think that I need to give in return something to others.
mm,
And the difference between you, me, and many people is the
yes,
opportunity.
that's right.
And the
Mm,
majority of the population of our country and our region, Latin America, is lack of opportunity.
uh-huh,
So,
totally.
and sometimes if you give a different look to other person, and if you have some empathy, you give them some attention, you can change other people's life. So I think that it's very important.
That's cool. That's good. Yeah, no, totally agree with you. And especially in Brazil, I live here for 2 years, so I know the situation. Probably not as good as you, of course, but I mean, I know the reality here. And I was wondering, what was, in the years that you've been working, right? What is your biggest lesson learned? That you can, help people here.
um, I learn every day,
Hmm.
and I think that it's important for everyone, mainly nowadays. But the most important thing
Hmm.
is people,
Mm.
because you need to live in society. and you need others. I always like to say that I love to hire and to work with people that are better than me because I learn a lot from them. I love young
Sure.
people because they have a different mindset.
Uh-huh.
And I used to say that I'm a trainee of the new generation.
it's, it's called reverse mentoring in many
Yeah,
cases, you know.
yeah. I wouldn't say that it's mentoring, but it's
Reverse sometimes, you know. It's like you
yeah.
mentor them, they give you back as well sometimes, you know.
Yes.
Interesting. Yeah, especially with technology, you know, because we are more technology adepts, I guess. So
Yeah,
we
so the majority of people they put a lot of focus on in technical aspects, but
yes,
I think that if there's a lack in the human aspect,
a lot.
and
Yeah.
yeah, so this is the difference, and this is
Uh-huh.
what's gonna make the world difference, the impact that you cause on other people.
Totally, you know, that was we started with this Impact Revolution channel, you know, in order to redefine this kind of business mindset, right? From transactional and economical to more social impact and more collaboration, more innovation, and more people centered. Yeah,
Mm-hmm,
because
mm-hmm.
business finally is for people, no, not the
Yes.
other way around. You know, that this
Yes.
looks like sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
All right, very good. And in your professional experience, you know, you do this woman's leadership kind of program, right? Also as a social service, I think it's not profit or I don't know what it is, but yeah, can you tell us a bit more about that mission? I thought it was
Yeah,
very
you
interesting.
you mean about the Grupo Mulheres em Conselhos?
ISO,
Yeah,
ISO.
yeah. So this is a group that I started 1 year ago. So the reason that I started is that, well, I was CEO for 4 times in different 4 companies.
Uh-huh.
And when I started participating in some boards, I realized that, again, the lack of women in those positions, in those
Mm,
boards. So if
totally.
you have an idea, today in Brazil, the C-level positions that women has, it represents no more than 16%.
Oh.
And if you look at the board, it's the same. Only 17%
Mm,
of the board seats belong to women. And
mm,
when I realized that, I invited some friends to have a conversation about it. And
mm,
we started to talk about it, to discuss it. And my idea was to have a small group of women to have this kind of discussion and conversation, and to know about it. But today, we are more than 900 women in the group.
Congratulations, really
And
impressive. Really impressive.
and
Yeah.
if we have 9 women in the group, so my experience says that there are 25 more men in the same position only in Brazil.
Uh, uh,
So I doubt that the women's seats are 70%. I think that it's less.
yeah. No, you know, it's well, it's a bit bigger in Spain, but it's similar numbers worldwide, you know. So it is clear, you know, the discrimination in that way
Yeah,
and lack of inclusion.
Europe and north of Europe is a little bit better.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. Uh, and you know, I was wondering, so because I think this is an important point, and I think women can be better leaders than many men in terms of emotional intelligence. You know, you are better with emotions, you have more patience, you have more, you know, long-term vision in many occasions. You know, instead of the short-term games. And this vision of the whole picture. So I was wondering, how do you do this? You know, how do you make these women more effective leaders in a way, and how you make them to go to these positions?
Um, I think that the most important thing when you get to a certain position,
Hmm.
like me, that I was CEO for 4 times, is to give opportunity to others.
Mm,
So I'm ambitious, but I don't like that ambitious that I don't think about others. So I think that you have, in order to build the future, you have to
mm,
develop people, you have to give people opportunity, you have to
mm,
open the doors, you have to mentor and coach them. So this is what I've been doing all my life. So when I started working, um, there were no almost no women in the business. So I started working with hardware companies, and then I moved to software companies. So in IT, there are less women than the other
Sure, I
kind of
can imagine,
yeah.
right?
So and imagine that like 30 years ago, I used to be the only woman in everywhere. So it was very
Yeah.
difficult. So when the something is starting to change, and the women start to have an opportunity or a certain position, I think that I don't get me wrong. I admire very much the men because the opportunities that I had in my life, I was pushed by men. But
Uh-huh.
you men, you already have your club, let's say, and you have all the opportunities, and it is historically, but the women still need um, support to go ahead. So
I think
uh,
so.
yeah, so this is why my mission is to open the doors for mainly for the women and for the diversity at all, I would say. uh, Not only women, but in Brazil, more than half of the population are black people. So
Mm.
if you think that only 70% of the board positions belong to women, if you think about black women, it's less than 1%.
Mm. Yeah, it's crazy. Uh-huh. Mm. Yeah, I heard about these figures before as well, and this is also about diversity and inclusivity here in Brazil, right? In that sense, okay. And what the funny thing is, there was a McKinsey study report that they have proved, that actually diversity brings more profit and brings more solutions and brings more innovation because different mindsets they are able to come up with better solutions and better ideas.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
think
good
that
for
everybody,
everybody.
I think that everybody knows that, because
Yeah,
if you sit with
I'm not sure if everybody knows that. I don't know.
everybody knows that, but some people pretend that they don't know.
Oh,
And
maybe, yeah,
yeah, because
true.
it's more comfortable depending on where you are. It's more comfortable to keep the things like they are,
Yeah,
and because
true.
the business works very well with no diversity. But if you have the chance to sit in a table with other nine different people than you, so you're gonna have a very rich opportunity to hear others and to know about others and to listen different opinions.
Mm,
And so this is something that is still missing, maybe because many people still didn't have the chance to do it.
mm.
And some of them maybe because of their ego are so high. And
I get
yeah,
you, yeah.
yeah. So it's something that we still have a lot ahead to work.
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
I totally agree. Very good, Andrea. Thank you so much. So I was wondering, all this experience, that you have, like for positions as CEO, all these projects that you have. You have some biggest lessons learned for business purposes to make a business sustainable, to make a business profitable in the long term. What would you say they are the key lessons learned for you, Andrea?
First of all, to build a potential team.
Hmm.
And a potential, I mean, that mainly today, when we have a different mindset that you must give people opportunity, you must invest in education, even in the companies.
Hmm.
And
Totally.
because we are in a region that education is not accessible for everyone.
Hmm.
So if the companies keep looking for people that are ready to start to work and prepared, so we don't have enough people. So
Hmm.
the companies have to invest in people to have a
Totally.
huge. So I used to give opportunity to people that didn't have, never would have a chance, let's say.
Hmm.
And so if you give them the opportunity and if they want, you're going to have a very successful team,
Hmm.
and bring different let's say different people to the team to build a diverse team. So this is something that I always thought about it. The other thing is to keep focus.
Uh-huh, definitely. Hmm.
Yeah. So if you don't have focus, if you don't have discipline, so I'm a very disciplined person.
Uh-huh. I can tell, you are in many businesses and many things. So I
Yeah.
was I was going to ask you later, how do you
Yeah,
have so
imagine,
much time for
imagine.
everything?
Because I sleep only 4 hours a day. This is the
Oh,
other thing.
really?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. 4 hours a day. Okay. Great. Anything else, Andrea, in terms of key lessons learned?
um,
Education, keep focus.
um, we can talk a lot about it, but I think that the most important that I would say, and I can tell by myself,
Sure.
is education, is to invest in people, to develop people,
Uh-huh.
and to keep focus in everything that you have to do, and discipline.
Definitely. I agree. I agree. The focus and discipline is important. I was wondering, were you always like this, of discipline and focus on doing many things? Or did you get better with time? Or did you learn from someone else? Did you have a mentor, maybe?
Well, I hope that I get better every day, and
That's the growth
uh,
mindset. That is growth mindset. I
yeah,
like that.
and yes, I have a mentor, and
Uh-huh.
I have a mentor, a different mentor, I would say, in my life, different mentors, and
Mm.
by coincidence, they're all men.
All right.
And yeah, just because, as I like very much diversity, I know how a woman thinks,
Uh-huh.
and I want to learn with the men and to
Mhm.
hear from them a different perspective of the same thing. So
Definitely.
learning how is a different perspective, how the other changed out, and discussing with different people. But my mentors, they used to be um, great personalities in Brazil, and they used to run big companies. So yeah, I have a mentor, always have a mentor,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and
Me too. Actually,
I mentor others. No.
uh-huh. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. It's receiving and giving back, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's very cool. Yeah, no, I was thinking that my mentor is a woman, so we
You
have this
see?
kind of mix as well. Yeah, I think I never thought about it, but it makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense. It's a good match, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Very good. And I was thinking that you do business in different places in the world, right? As I
Yes.
understood. I wanted to understand if you have seen that you probably seen different cultural differences, right? And this cultural intelligence is something that is going to be much required in the future, right? Because every business is becoming more globalized. So I was wondering, in terms of this cultural intelligence, let's call it. Yeah, what can you share that could be used and can be practical for others?
Yeah. Although we are very globalized world now, and you can do business with everyone everywhere,
Hmm.
but you have to respect the cultural aspect,
Definitely. Hmm.
because it's something that is very strong in to anyone. And
Mm.
for instance, if you go to Asia,
Yes.
you have so many different aspects of culture in the region. So if you make business with a Chinese person, is completely different from a Japanese and from Korean. And if you go to Europe, there are so many differences between France and the Nordics, for instance. So the approach, if you talk to a um, French person, they tend to be more talkative, and they like long conversations.
Spaniards too.
Yes, Spain too. And if you come to Brazil,
Uh,
so even if you go to a meeting, you never go straight to the point. So
mm,
you have that ice breaking. We have the coffee, we have the conversation, and if
uh,
you understand the culture,
uh,
it makes your opportunities easier for you, and better chance to have something and to build something.
yeah,
So
definitely.
every time that I go to a new place, I love to understand first what is the culture. of the place.
Uh-huh.
So what's important for them?
Mm.
Otherwise, you're not going to build anything. Even when I go to vacation, it's
Yeah.
important. It's important. So an example, last year was in Croatia,
Hmm.
and
Okay.
yeah. So my first thought was, okay, it's Europe, so I know a little bit about East Europe. But the thing is that Croatia, they have very, very specific things. The way that the people are. So the first moment you think, oh, they are very aggressive,
All
but
right.
they are not. We can say that they are naturally aggressive because
Uh-huh.
they don't know that they are aggressive. But the time that you talk to them and they see that, oh, there's a difference in between us, and they understand that, for instance, me as a Brazilian, I'm a very talkative person. I'm a touchy person, and
Yeah, sure.
they feel that there's a difference. And if you have an open mind and
Mm.
you understand and you have this, this curiosity, like let's say by others and by other
Mm.
cultures, it makes everything easier.
Yeah, that's right. Cool. I love it. I love it. Thank you. There are very important tips here, Andrea. And I was wondering now, so your main business now, what is it? Like, because I understand this Mulheres de Conselhos is something more as a service, a social service. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in a sabbatical year, let's say.
Ah,
So
okay.
yeah, I
Ah,
left.
nice.
I left the last company that I worked at the end of last year, and I decided to dedicate to myself a little bit. So the
Uh-huh.
first semester of this year, I studied a lot,
Uh-huh.
and but well, I never stop because I'm a plugged person. So this is
Uh-huh.
why I have so many different projects. But this is something that I do forever. But so what I'm doing now, I'm investing in startups. I invest today in 14 startups.
Okay.
Um, I mentor three CEOs of big
Uh-huh.
companies.
Uh-huh.
I give some consultancy sometimes. I'm a speaker in events. So I have
Ah,
at
okay.
least one event per week.
Uh-huh.
And so
That's your sabbatical, yeah.
yeah, this is my sabbatical. But you know what? I've been learning so much in the spirit. Yeah, I've been learning a lot.
uh,
In the
sure,
spirit.
sure.
Yeah, yeah. So I think that maybe it's gonna take a couple months for me to go back to the normal business, let's say.
Mm.
I have some plans. I'm investing in a new business in south of Brazil,
All right.
and yeah, so it's still let's say a secret because I'm going to launch a brand, but it's a completely different business for everything that I used to do, but it's
All
gonna be
right.
cool. Yeah.
Cool.
So I have some
Let me know.
plans.
Let me know. I want to hear. I want to hear. And I want to follow you. All right. Very good. Thank you, Andrea. So we have like 7 minutes left, 6 minutes. So I was wondering if there is anything else you would like to share, Andrea, that we haven't covered so far.
Oh, like what? I don't know. Let's see. Well, something that for
Yeah.
me it works a lot. It works a
Okay.
lot. It's being a very spiritual person,
Okay. Cool.
and I think that taking care of my body is not enough.
Hmm.
So I'm very connected with God. It
Okay.
doesn't mean that I'm a religious person. I go to the church, but I wouldn't say that I'm a religious person, but I'm a person that I'm very grateful for everything that I have. And I believe that there is something else, something big and something huge. And I believe that God takes care of me all the time,
Uh-huh. All right.
and it's not only me. And so it makes me feel happy,
Uh-huh.
knowing that I have this faith.
Hmm.
And I also would say that I read the Bible every day.
All right.
The Bible is a very updated book every
Uh-huh.
day for me. And every time I read, and I can read the same thing every day, that I'm going to feel or learn something different. And I can apply what I read in my life.
All right.
And so, something that I do every morning when I wake up and I
Yes.
open my eyes, I thank God because I can open my eyes. I can move
Mm-hmm.
my body myself. I don't need anyone to help me to move my body. I can
Mm-hmm.
breathe. And I do the same thing when I go to sleep at night. And
Beautiful.
yeah,
Okay.
so I
Uh,
think I'm sure that I have a, a much better life because of that.
Definitely, definitely. No, there is a psychological studies, that they done that they say that people that they are religious and they have this community and they have this faith, they are happier. They are
Yeah,
happier.
yeah,
It's proven. It's
and
proven,
you know,
and they are more effective. Mm.
yes, and so I have a very positive
Mindset.
mind,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. Of course, of
So
course.
being positive is also something that makes you different, because you have 50% of chance that anything happens or not. So, but
Mm.
if you are a positive person, you start having more than 50%, because if
Yeah.
you are positive, you're going to convince the others about something
Yeah.
that you want to sell or business you want to
Uh,
do, or something you're gonna.
definitely.
Yes, because there's a matter of attitude.
Yes, definitely. Well, I love it. Yeah, I totally agree with this. This is part of my work, my job as well. These positive emotions and the influence that they have in our brain and behaviors and influence, right?
Hmm.
Very good. Andrea, I was, wondering, that you starting investing in startups, supporting startups, you say, and all that. What are your big main lessons learned that you get from those experiences in terms of what are you looking for a startup, or how do you know which startups to invest in?
Hmm. Well, the companies that I worked in the past,
Mm-hmm.
when I started working there, I didn't know, but they were startup at the time. For instance, I was one of the first employees of digital equipment, compact computer, when those companies land in Brazil, SAP. So I was one of the first employees. At that time, they were startup. We just didn't
Sure.
call startup. So this is the
Mm-hmm.
same today. So
Uh-huh.
there are lots of startups today, many, 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 many. So the thing is that I understand that a startup founder, he or she, they have very good ideas, very good products, but they most of the time they are very young. Most of the
Mm-hmm.
time, they don't have experience and they don't know very well the market.
Mm-hmm.
So if and they don't have the same structure of a huge company like SAP that I worked in the past,
Mm-hmm.
so they need help to develop. So I tend to choose a company and a product that I believe that I would be a client,
Mm-hmm.
and to help them to develop and go to the market.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
if I see a potential, this is where I invest.
Okay, very good. I was thinking, from among those 14 startups, could I ask what is your favorite one or two?
The majority of them are technology.
Technology, okay.
Yeah, the majority of them are technology.
Okay, all right. So it's technology focus, eh? Very good. We have 1 minute left. So my last question, or one of my favorite last questions, is if you could leave some last words to the whole entire world, Andrea, what would you say?
I would say, next time that you meet someone, pay attention in this person, because everybody needs somebody in certain way. So we are not isolated person. We are not island. So and everybody needs some attention and needs a different look. So the next person that you have a chance to meet, and if um, they are someone that need more than attention, and you have 5 minutes for them, give something, because everyone has something to give all the time, a
Yeah.
word, an opportunity, an advice. So I think that the most important thing and lesson for the future. And this is what we must have in mind all the time. So
I
you
love it.
always have something to give, help
Yes.
others.
Yeah. Very good. Thank you so much. It was
Thank
a big
you.
pleasure, Andrea. Thank you
Yeah,
so
for me
much.
too. For me too.
Talk to
Thank
you
you.
soon. Thanks a lot. I love it.